Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about mental health and disability. Uh, the reason I'm doing this is that I'm actually organizing, along with a couple friends, a conference for muscular dystrophy patients in about 2.5 months. And a lot of the content is going to be on things like research and development of therapies and scientific stuff. But there's also going to be some quote unquote life hacks, how talking to peers who have, gone through, things like, having, children with the disease, being a young adult with the disease, having a family, when you yourself have the disease, and that sort of thing. Um, One topic that I'd really wanted to cover, but it just didn't work out logistically this year, is the concept of mental health. And first of all, I'll say that I am in no way qualified to talk authoritatively about this. I don't have, any psychology experience, counseling experience. I've, lived with the disease. I've dealt with my own mental health, but this is basically, one person's experience. So I'll just try and, raise some of the issues to raise awareness and, hopefully um, that will cause some good things to happen. Okay, so first of all, I want to get by the stereotypes a little bit. One common thing that people can think is, oh, if you have a disability, that means you're necessarily going to be depressed all the time and feeling sorry for yourself, because you've had this thing happen to you. That's not necessarily true. There are people who have disabilities who are depressed. There are people who don't have disabilities who are depressed. There are people with disabilities or without them who, have a good outlook and everything in between. So having a disability doesn't make you depressed, but you can be depressed with it. One way to look at it is, and this is a scale that somebody made probably 50, 60 years ago about having different stressors in your life. If you've had a serious illness, if someone close to you has died, if you've retired or lost your job or moved to a different place or started a new job or gotten divorced or gotten married or had kids. Any sort of major change in your life or any sort of difficult situation to deal with is kind of a stressor. And so what's important is to count up the different stressors that you have in your life. So if you have a disability or any kind of a serious health problem, you kind of always have that as your baseline in life. So depending on your personality, depending on what coping skills you develop, you may be more likely to have mental health issues than someone else. But there are coping skills. It's not a given that because you have this thing that you will get depressed or that it's impossible to have a fulfilling or rewarding or happy life. So the other thing that, and this was a talk that I saw given by a fellow patient who also has a counseling background, that in the case like the particular condition that I have, which has a slowly progressive nature, you kind of gradually lose your muscle strength and your physical abilities. It's kind of a recurrent loss situation. In other words, okay, if you're at a certain place, that's the new normal, but then a few years later, there's yet another new normal, and you keep transitioning from new normal to new normal. So, which, can be difficult for, a lot of people. They constantly find themselves trying to, readjust with all the life changes that are happening to them. But, again, I can think of many times in my own life where I said, okay, well, if I can't do X, or, then what am I going to do? Or, I don't, what is the future gonna be like? Well, the future, amazingly, and would have surprised me, has always worked out very well for me. In spite of any difficulties that I've had. So again, this isn't going to be a major issue. Well, this video isn't going to be, a major treatise on this topic, because one, I cannot tackle it authoritatively, and I just want to introduce some of the things. But on the other hand, it's possible to have mental health issues if you have a disability or serious illness, just like anyone else does. So I think the important thing I would say to someone is, if you find yourself struggling, don't feel that you've let anyone down. Admit, that you're having trouble, reach out to other people. And the other thing I would say is that, don't let your sense of self-worth, revolve around, oh, I'm only a, worthy or, valuable or likable person because I can do X, Y, and Z. That's really not what gives you worth as a human being. So, give yourself a break. Think of, what you can do, and, how you can make the world a better place, connect with other people, ways that, you can help out, and skills that you have, rather than focusing on things you can't do. Again, and hopefully in the next conference, this will be something that I'll be able to put on the program. But I just wanted to give a little synopsis of the issue. And I will say that, right now, my mental state is pretty good. I'm doing well. My life is fairly happy. But, it hasn't always been that way. And it's taken me a while to, realize these things that I'm talking about on the video. So anyway, hope you're all doing well, and if you're not, I hope you will be soon. So thank you for watching.